Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow Room. And we're finally through Mozart. Actually, the M's are, like I said, are going to be pretty bountiful because we got to deal with Mahler and Mendelssohn, and Monteverdi's actually pretty good. Now, there's going to be some really fun stuff in there. But for now, as we go backward through the alphabet, we're in Moszkowski. Yeah, Moszkowski. I've got a bunch of Moszkowskis here, actually. He was a very good composer, enjoyable composer, mostly of piano works, but other things too. So here, the Romantic Piano Concerto, that fabulous series on Hyperion, and this is the first release. Wow, number one. It's Moszkowski's Piano Concerto in E major, Opus 59, a four-movement symphonic piece full of bravura and some really juicy tunes, and the Paderewski Piano Concerto in A minor, another major work. These pieces ought to be repertory pieces. They really should. I mean, the first disc of this series really threw down the gauntlet, didn't it? With Piers Lane piano, and let's see, the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra under Jerzy Maksimiuk, conductor. Yay! Oh boy, this is terrific. I wonder if it's still available. Who knows? Yeah, Moszkowski is good stuff. Put that down there. Then we've got his Violin Concerto. Violin Concerto in C major, it looks like. Yes, it was, Opus 30, along with the Ballade in G minor, Opus 16, number 1, and Karlowitz, his Violin Concerto, which is one of his major works, Opus 8, an early work. Everything Karlowitz wrote was an early work because he only lived for, from 1876 to 1909. So he didn't have much that was late. Moszkowski made it from 1854 to 1925. Wasn't exactly elderly, but he had a pretty substantial life. Tasman Little is the excellent violinist, the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra under Martin Brabbins. What year was this? 2003. Wow, baby. This was the Romantic Violin Concerto Volume 4. What year was this one? The first one for the piano concerto thing. 91. That's when it started. This amazing series, which hopefully some century will get all boxed up. I don't know if it's still going now that Hyperion's been sold, and there may not be any, guiding intelligence behind the label. We don't know. We don't know what they're doing. Then we've got, Moszkowski again, the Violin Concerto in E major, which we've already discussed, this time with Markus Paulik piano at the Polish National Radio Symphony Orchestra, Katowice, under Antoni Witt. Excuse me. Under Antoni Witt. And this is really a very good performance as well. And it has the From Foreign Lands suite, Opus 23, which is delicious. It's a wonderful work. You really ought to listen to it. It's we've got to, someday someone's got to play it. I don't know, they got to do something. You've got Russian, Italian, German, Spanish, Polish, and Hungarian. Delightful music, really fun. I'm glad I kept this one. Yeah, indeed. And then we've got, that's Moszkowski. There's more, but upstairs somewhere, and this is the overflow portion. So there's that. Then we've got Moscheles, who I always thought was pronounced Moscheles, which is just easier to say. But, I was at some symposium, and everyone was going, Moscheles, 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 Moscheles. So I guess it's Moscheles. I liked Moscheles better. Ignaz Moscheles, 1794, to 1870. And more with the Romantic Piano Concerto, Volume 36, in this case. Piano Concertos 4 and 5, which are big works, serious works, and very enjoyable, and Recollections of Ireland, which has a Fantasia and the Groves of Blarney and Gary Owen and St. Patrick's Day. Delicious. Absolutely lovely, with Howard Shelley, piano and conducting the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra. Moscheles was a, Liszt contemporary and one of those, early piano virtuoso people who was sort of eclipsed later by Liszt and Alcan, those people. But he was a brilliant and effective pianist. And so these are wonderful to have. There's so much good repertoire in this series, really there is. And here's more Moscheles, Piano Concerti 1, 6, and 7, which is with the same people in this series. I might as well just pull them all out here because there's 3 of them. And Piano Concertos 2 and 3 and Anticipations of Scotland. I love the title. Anticipations of Scotland, a Grand Fantasia, which has a whole bunch of sections. The introduction, and then Kelvin Grove, Old Robin Gray, Lord Moira's Strathspey, and a finale. You're not going to hear this stuff anywhere else. And God knows you're not going to hear it live, which I think is tragic. It's wonderful stuff. So there's Moscheles. Then we've got Finn Mortenson, the Norwegian composer. What a wonderful composer he is for one work. His first symphony. I think it was his only symphony, actually. I mean, he became quickly a atonal avant-gardist and wrote very little music. His music was quite sparse. But the first symphony, which is a modal quasi-Hindemithyan thing with lots of counterpoint, is really a masterpiece. And here it is, Symphony Number 1, Opus 5. It's only been recorded a couple times. And for a long time, this was the only one you could get on the Aurora label with Maris Jensen's and the Oslo Philharmonic, back before they became the Oslo Philharmonic. They weren't as good back then. They were scruffier, but they play it well enough. And what a masterpiece. Get it and listen to it. It's wonderful. Finn Mortenson, that's the guy, Mortensen. Sensational. You also get here the Wind Quintet, which is really bizarre, and the Suite for Wind Quintet, Opus 36. See, the Wind Quintet came just before the symphony. It's still in a more or less traditional vein, but the Suite is totally modernistic and funny. Mortenson had a sense of humor. The movements are the Wind Soloist, Avant-Garde, Doubtful Dialogue, Tango for 3, and Wind Quintet. And one of the instruments is like, let's see, it's got flute, oboe, clarinet, bassoon, and French horn. And my, oh my, oh my. What an alarming sound some of these movements make. It's fun. It's fun music. Even his atonal stuff is fun. So do listen to that symphony. It's great. I've done a video about it before already, and it's a major work. Oh, look. Ennio Morricone. I've got a couple of them. Well, the legendary Italian Westerns. The Film Composers Series Volume 2. So here they are. Gunfight at Red Sands. Guns Don't Argue. A Fistful of Dollars. A Gun for Ringo. For a Few Dollars More. Ringo Rides Again. 7 Guns for the McGregors. Death Rides a Horse. And Once Upon a Time in the West. A classic. These are fun. This is on BMG. So that's nice to have. I've got a bunch more Morricone film scores. We should talk about them. These collection things. They're sitting up there. Waiting for me to do something with them, so I should. And then we've got, oh, this is wonderful. This is really fun. Let's see, music and dialogue from the motion picture Young Frankenstein. Well, there you go. It doesn't even say who's. Oh, there we go. John Morris. I was going to say, does it tell you who the composer is? John Morris. Wonderful, wonderful composer for the Mel Brooks films. He did a bunch of them, and Young Frankenstein is one of his best because it's so Fred Steiner. It's a takeoff on classic Hollywood film scores, just as the movie is a takeoff on a classic Hollywood film. So this is delightful. It's really fun. So John Morris was an unacknowledged master of this sort of pastiche writing, and he deserves a lot of credit. So there you go. That's a batch of mixed things from the Overflow Room. Yes, I love it when we get to the mixtures as opposed to just the same guy over and over again 30 times. Love Mozart, but it's nice to have a refreshing change of pace, isn't it? So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.